From the Denny Sanford Premier Center, this is the Hurrdat Sports Show, live from Summit League Media Day. I'm Anna Bellinghausen, Avarie Howard. Also now joining us, Oral Roberts head coach Kelsi Musick, and then, of course, Missy Heidrick, our color analyst, our basketball guru, if you will. Just want to start off with expectations for the year. What have you seen so far early on from this group?
Well, we're really new. I have 10 out of 13 new players on this roster, but their energy and their effort and the way that they've really learned our offense and our system, it's been pretty impressive. So we're really excited of where we're at, but we also know we have a long ways to go.
That off-the-court stuff for all these new girls in the team, how have you cultivated just that culture and also the identity that you want to see at this Oral Roberts program?
You know, I think it started in the summer when we bring them in. We run a family-type atmosphere, so I think one way we can integrate that is our children. So my assistant, associate head coach, Sophie Anderson, and myself have been coaching together for 14 years. Our 10-year-olds are 11 days apart. Our 7-year-olds are 3 weeks apart. So when you bring them to practice, it's mildly entertaining, but it really does cultivate the family-type atmosphere that we want to grow and we want to establish at ORU. So I think that's been helpful because, you know, it kind of takes the nerves away when you have some kids running around and makes it enjoyable.
You look from year one to year two, and coming from an incredibly successful time when you were at Southwestern Oklahoma State, it's a big jump, and there's a lot of change and a lot of things that go on in that mix. When you reflect on that first year and think, okay, what were some things maybe I would have done different, would do the same, what stood out to you the most, and thinking about how did you want to approach year two?
I think you can always learn something, and we obviously learned a lot in our first year. I think one thing, it was very humbling. We had gotten to where we were really good at SWASU, and we'd won a lot of games. So to kind of realize and humble yourself and realize, well, you know, you have to build it from the ground up, and you have to build it right. It's going to take time. Things don't happen overnight. Most things that are great don't happen overnight. So to make sure we build it on the firm foundation, being able to have this opportunity to recruit players that fit our system, I think was huge for us going into year two. But also, you know, I think teaching the offense, we hadn't really had to teach it like this in a while because you just had players who could run it, and then everyone just kind of fell in stride and fell in step to that. And so really being able to break it down, you know, we had to do so much in year one. I think really taking a step back and breaking things down, you know, putting pieces together and then putting it back together has been really helpful for us in the short amount of time from July to right now.
Okay, so let's talk about a little of that X's and O's stuff and kind of dive in, because I think anybody that watched you second in the Summit League a year ago, you guys averaged almost 78 points a game. So this is fast. This is a play fast. You led the league in steals, so it's going to be on both ends. What is that approach? How do you go ahead and teach that? And if someone said, this is our offensive philosophy, put it out on the table, what is it? Man,
we want to score fast, you know. If you're not sprinting, you're probably not going to be playing very many minutes for me on the court. Okay. So we want to get 85 plus possessions per game, but our goal is to score 85 plus points. I mean, we want to lead the league in scoring. We want to be in the top 10 in the nation in scoring. Those things are important to us. And I think our philosophy, I think getting them in really good shape is obviously preseason is rigorous, but I always tell them, you won't like me in September and October, but, you know, you'll hopefully love me in February and March, you know, so there's a method to the madness. But I think being able to recruit players that can really get to the rim, but are good passers and share the ball. And obviously we've got to shoot the three ball well because, you know, we don't take too much mid-range jumpers and whatnot. So getting to the rim, being able to finish with contact and do it on both sides of the floor. Sometimes I felt like last year we kind of got stuck on the right side of the floor. If you can utilize shifting that ball and get people to have to close out on you, that's when we're at our best. And obviously transition offense. We want to get the ball down the court as quick as possible, get the ball out quicker. I think those things make a difference, and we've really been focusing on those things.
When you take a look, I feel like you might be almost an honorary member of the Big 12 when you look at your non-conference schedule. You've got at TCU November 6th, November 12th at Oklahoma, November 29th at Texas, mid-December the 18th at Kansas State. So you're going to take this group on the road, and you're going to challenge them in very tough environments. What was the philosophy behind that? And then second of all, what do you want to see out of that opportunity for this group of young women?
You know, I think if you want to be at the top, if you want to be really good, you want to be the best, you have to play the best. And some of the Big 12 teams are obviously some of the best in the nation. It's a quality conference. So to be able to take them on the road, to challenge them, to see where we're at it up against some really quality top top-notch teams in the nation, and then to see where we fall and what we need to do to reach the top of the summit. You know, like I said, it's not easy, but at the end of the day, you have to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to go up against great teams, and that's the only way you're going to get better.
Absolutely.
We've dove into the offense a little bit, and now we've kind of talked about that non-con schedule. Last year, as Missy said, top in the league in steals, but also block shots as well. How much are you wanting this identity to become from the defense, and how much do you think this non-conference schedule will test that defensive strength that you guys had last year?
You know, I think that's one thing we've been working on, and we're changing some of our defensive philosophies because we do have to be able to get stops. You know, if our defense wasn't the best, obviously, but I always joke with my AD. I said, hey, in any interview, when you hired me, I never said I was going to be the best defensive team. I said we were going to. That wasn't on the list. I said I was going to score points. I said we would be leading the league in scoring, and we wouldn't play slow basketball. So, you know, I like to joke around with them a little bit, but we definitely have to be able to get stops. Obviously, we ran a little bit of our chaos press towards the end of the season, so be able to implement that would be huge for us, because then it helps us speed other teams up, which I think is huge. So defensively, we've got to be able to get stops. We've got to be able to be a unit. But we also have to speed teams that want to slow us down back up with our defense, and so that's where the steals and the blocks come into place, I believe.
Where was that instilled in you as a coach, just that style of play?
You know, we initially learned it when I was at Fresno State from Vance Wahlberg. One of his, Brian Tesler, was actually at Fresno City College, and that's where we kind of learned it. And we were able to implement it at Fresno State. And so once I brought it back to SWOSU, you know, a lot of people thought I was crazy. And
it's like an air raid offense. We're talking football.
Literally. West Coast offense here.
We're going.
West Coast offense.
Yes.
So when I first brought it back to SWOSU, we obviously didn't initially in that year one have the players to be able to play at that speed. And so once we were able to recruit to the system and get players that fit it, you know, the players really like it. You know, it definitely fits the style of play in which players want to. So it's not like, okay, I just need you to take the 20 shots for the game. You really do have freedom. And once they learn to embrace the freedom and use their God-given talents, that's when it really takes off. And I think that that's one thing with the players that we've been able to recruit. They're really going to be able to embrace the offense, but also use what God gave them and to hopefully be successful.
I want to talk about Hannah Cooper. I know she's here today with you. She'll be up here next with us, a preseason All-Summit League first-team selection. She was an All-Conference player a year ago. She led this league in minutes played. She logged a lot of minutes a year ago for you, and I'm pretty sure that's probably what's going to happen coming in this year.
Yeah.
Talk about Hannah. Talk about her leadership qualities and what she just brings to the floor for you.
You know, I think it's impressive for her to have only averaged 6 points a game prior to our arrival and then to, you know, lead the league last year. I mean, that's a huge leap. But like I said, her style of play really does fit our offense. She's a scoring point guard, which I love. She can push the ball. She loves to play fast. She wants to get up and run. And her leadership qualities have really, I think, taken over this year because we've had so many new players. For her to be able to embrace that leadership role has been huge for us because she is one of 3 returners from last year's team that had a clue to what we were doing. So, but just the fact that she can really get to the rim, she can get downhill, she can score, she has a good mid-range. We've worked on some different things to help her in that mid-range game and then obviously develop her three-point shot. She's got to be able to shoot the 3 ball better in order to continue to get to the rim in this league because obviously everyone knows she can score.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're drawing experience from a semifinal game last year. What kind of motivation and just experience do you think that's going to help some of the returners on this team for this season?
I think understanding the Summit League, you know, it was new for all of us, our whole staff, our team, just learning the travel, learning the rigorous schedule that you're going to have, especially, like I said, with travel, but just the quality of teams. The Summit League is really good. The quality of teams is top notch, and I think that just understanding where we're at, but where we want to be. So I think that gave us, like you said, great experience to be able to play here in South Dakota in front of a packed crowd.
Yeah.
Man, there's nothing better to have that opportunity to be on this court with, you know, thousands of people watching. So just to, you know, we want to extend it. We want to go further. We want to do better, but I think it starts with having a better conference record leading up into the conference tournament. That's going to be huge for us.
No doubt.
Coach, I'll probably ask every single head coach this, but what does success look like to you this season?
Man, that's a good one. You know, I think I think there's multiple ways to to define success. There's quality, there's maybe quantity in a sense of how many wins. But we want them to, obviously, I always say, we want them to always leave our program better than they found it. So to really be able to pour into these young women to help them grow mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And you can do that through basketball, which I think is important. But I think, obviously winning games is what we want to do. I mean, we want to play for a Summit League title. We want to finish in the top of the conference in regular season. For some that might think that those are huge, lofty goals, but if you don't dream big, you're never going to reach it. And if you don't ever talk about it, you got to speak it into existence too. So we've got to believe that what we're doing is we're building a quality program that will sustain the test of time and hopefully become a dynasty within the Summit League. That's our goal. But like I said, just developing young women who are going to be bold in this big world. So those things are important too.
Well, and it's an exciting time at Oral Roberts. I mean, when you think about the success, not only a new program for you guys, your men's basketball program gets to the tournament last year, your baseball program in the College World Series, it just has to be exciting to be part of what is Oral Roberts athletics.
Absolutely. I mean, they put us on the map, to be able to see our basketball team do so well, our baseball team, like you said, to go so deep in the College World Series. But it is a great time to be a Golden Eagle. I always say pressure's either felt or created, so we don't want to feel it. We want to go create it, and that's kind of our goal this year. We want to create pressure for other teams.
That's awesome.